Hey guys, a little while ago I made a video of my impressions on the demo. THPS 1 and 2 has been out for a few months now. Since then I've partook in a Games Done Quick affiliated release day showcase as a commentator and really tried to soak in the experience of the game myself. But first, I think it's important to recap how we got to this point. The Robomoto era of Tony Hawk releases and the Tony Hawk mobile game, which lifted many of its assets from Mike Vallei's Skate Party, caused a lot of damage to the reputation of the classic franchise, leading to fans either moving on entirely or continuing to play the Thug 2 PC fan-made mod, Thug Pro, with little hope for what's next. Hype began to build again, with projects like the stellar documentary Pretending I'm a Superman and the leaked project name Tony Hawk Alcatraz. Vicarious Visions was confirmed to be the next bearer of the THPS torch, leading to new hope. The team's stellar reputation built from the collection of solid Tony Hawk handheld games and the highly touted Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy did much to build good faith with the fan base, not to mention the recruitment of former Neversoft employee and legendary THPS icon Andy Gentili, and the pre-order bonus of a playable THPS 1+2 demo ticked even more boxes that the Robomoto games didn't. Although there was some initial skepticism based on some of the physics and trick animations shown in trailers, the reception to the demo itself was warm. The game itself, while not a one-to-one comparison of THPS 1 and THPS 2, is a faithful Tony Hawk installment. Even from the outset, you have post-THPS 2 features like switching between grinds and lip tricks with different button combinations, nollie and switch stances, spine transfer, revert, wall plant, flatland tricks, pivots, drop downs, quick turns, acid drop / acid bomb depending on the vertical distance of the acid drop, and hip transfers. Although for the purist you can toggle to THPS 1 or THPS 2 faithful control styles, disallowing use of the previously mentioned features. Thankfully, the two biggest issues I had with Pro Skater 2 have been omitted entirely or fixed, that being Big Drop or the special manual combination being on the grab button. Moreover, you can rebind a lot of your controls on PC, and many of the controllers work natively without additional software. Being that Neversoft usually utilized the PlayStation 2 as the hub console for game development, it would make sense that the controls mirror more of those on the popular Sony console. The amount of buttons on the DualShock controller differed from that of the Xbox and GameCube controllers, leading to compromises needing to be made when porting games. Me being an Xbox player, I'm used to being able to spine transfer and fast spin with the same trigger, as opposed to alternating between the triggers and the shoulder buttons. I adjusted pretty quickly, but I can see this throwing off certain subsets of players. I guess you could use Joy to Key or X-Padder to bind your controller however you want. Jumping to tours, another caveat that I don't necessarily take issue with is the level progress being shared between skaters, meaning you can't replay the same goals in tours with another skater and you can't easily start a new game file for tours. I don't mind this as much because when I was collecting all the stat points with every skater, it made this task easier to do. However, it would be nice to have the option for sure, once again to make it more faithful to the classic Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. To stack up to the amount of goals in THPS 2, they added additional goals to the THPS 1 career mode, more collectible goals and gap goals. So what's old is now new again. You have your challenges, which act as your achievements or trophies or whatever you want to call them. Skater challenges. Now there's sort of a mishmash of a lot of similar challenges, collecting all stat points, combo only involving certain tricks, combos involving a gap, combo involving various special tricks, winning competitions, landing a gap on X amount of levels. Pretty basic stuff, did get to be a little bit redundant, but not too big of a deal. I thought it was fine. Get There challenges. Linking a gap from one end of the level to another, Get There is meant to pay an homage of an ongoing challenge series originating from the old THPS online community. While some of them were a little bit cumbersome, I had a lot of fun with the Get Theres. Premier decks. A nice flashy reward, and it really encourages the high score enthusiasts to do what they do best. Find a crazy loop, building up the best base score they can with the tricks that they have, just busting out all these different special airs, trying not to kill their balance by jumping on the same rail too many times without tricks in between. You know, just no big deal. There's a lot of other collectibles as well that contribute to challenge completion and an unlockable character. There's alien dolls to smash, VV logos to snatch up, monkey graffiti to wall ride over, and as I mentioned, stat points. Cash goals have been stripped from the game, and some of the tucked away secret skate spots that used to house these dollar bills now contain stat points. The stat point locations vary depending on which skate style the skater possesses, vert, street, or park. The only issue is, it's so easy to miss because there's such a bloated cast of street skaters. I think it would have been better to structure this more along the lines of THPS 3, where non-distinct groups have the same stat locations. Divide the cast into 3 different groups of 7 and you'll obtain a similar result. I have to say I've seen several videos complaining that the Carlsbad area in School 2 and the wind tunnel and hangar have no reason to exist, without realizing that those spaces are actually being occupied by a stat point, but for another style of skater. Graphics are good as expected. Levels have either been enhanced with lighting, a slew of additional details, pops of color, or a reinterpretation of the classic location. The light pooling through the windows and imperfections in the roof and warehouse, birds erratically flying in and out of the building, the crazy feline running around in the background. There's frickin' bugs crawling on the QP behind the skater spawn, I mean come on. School has new signs of life with colorful additions. They even added in drawings from one of the children of one of the employees in the background. That's just too wholesome. Burnside has changed to a nighttime variant with rain pouring and all new graffiti pieces strewn about. Mall, a masterclass in storytelling. The long vacant mall has shown signs of aging, closing signs plastered in the fountain area, more craters in the ceiling once again. The section stationed below the secret tape rafters has grown plant life. This has to be my favorite remastered level visually, just hands down. Hangar has a multitude of promotional artwork from the Neversoft era games, a tip of the hat to those that paved the way. Classy move from Vicarious Visions, although I was half expecting to see the Neversoft eyeball appear in Skate Heaven. Speaking of which, Skate Heaven has always been a gorgeous level, the isolated feeling in space surrounded by articles of skate history. Now, if data miners didn't spoil this for me, it would have had potentially even more of an effect on me. I think a true credit to how well you can remake a level is you make something memorable out of a level that somebody cared so little about. This is really evident in the level Chopper Drop. Chopper Drop doesn't have a lot going for it, but with the gimmick of the camera panning away from the helicopter, your skater drops in, you jump off the ramp and fireworks go off. It made a level that I would consider one of my least favorite in all of Tony Hawk games. You made that a memorable experience, and I think that really just kind of goes to show how well Vicarious Visions did on these levels. Just top-notch work. And as per usual, riding over different surfaces has different sound effects, which is always nice, gives a little bit more of a realistic feel to it. I think it's a nice feature that Freeskate allows you to look at all the levels right away without having to make any game progress, save for the bonus levels, of course. The soundtrack of the game brings back most of the THPS 1 and 2 catalog, along with some new songs. The new songs themselves were enjoyable enough, they weren't as grating to me as the HD and THPS 5 editions, so good job on the selection there. Speedrun mode. As someone who partakes in the THPS speedrun community, it warms my heart to see the inclusion of a speedrunning mode. In this mode, you select a level and try to complete the objectives as quickly as possible as the clock ticks upwards. It would be nice to have a replay system in place to see what routes each player took in order to achieve their time. In addition, a replay system, or the ghost lap sort of system, would weed out a lot of the cheaters that somehow manage a 1 millisecond time. Multiplayer / split screen. Split screen is pretty standard with all the same game modes as online, as well as tag and horse, which probably need no introduction. Now, multiplayer. I'm happy that they made the two separate sections, jams for the more casual players, and competitive for the tryhards. Now I have a few crucial issues with the online multiplayer. For one, there is no way to chat with the players, there's no voice chat that I know of, there's no text chat, so it really just feels kind of like an isolated experience. It's like you live in a house with a bunch of roommates and you just kind of look at each other but don't ever say anything. You also can't pick your level or game mode, you just join a lobby and you're at the game's mercy. While I don't hate this setup all the time, it's kind of nice just to kick back, chill, let things roll as they go, especially if the host goes AFK. It should definitely be something you can switch on or off. I don't want to play Chopper Drop Score Challenge, alright? Come on. Another complaint I'd like to lodge is the lack of game mode variety. Trick Attack, Combo Mambo, Score Challenge, Combo Challenge are all score-based modes, and Graffiti is pretty much the same, although you do need to branch out a bit from basic lines to win. It might be waiting in the wings, but we really need something like King of the Hill or Capture the Flag to mix things up, so hopefully that is on the horizon as well. A couple of cool new things about multiplayer is, for one, you can see not only your own score, but your adversary's scores as well. Also, any objects you interact with or destroy will show up for other players. Usually you have to bonk into this pole first, but since somebody already did that for me, it's immediately accessible to me. Same goes for the hidden spot in Marseille, the park in Philadelphia, and so on. Now, pretty much anything you do in this game will give you cash. Completing challenges, completing high score sessions, speed runs, multiplayer games, really anything you can think of will give you cash. Cash that you can later use to buy more decks, grip tape, wheels, clothing items, create a park pieces, icons, you name it, they'll pretty much give it to you with cash. It's really just a major driving force in expanding all the different options in the game. Create a park. I definitely think that they could use more pieces. I mean, you can buy some with cash, but even so, I feel like there could be even more. But the smart park pieces are amazing. The way you can warp and shift different sections of each object allows for more creativity. Coming back from THPS 5 is the now expanded upon skins feature, allowing to give more textures to different objects, sort of create whatever kind of look you're going for. I think that's really cool. You can have like secondary textures, different colors. It's really awesome. And need I mention how huge the space you have to work with is. It's definitely a big upgrade from THPS 5. I must say. And just like in certain games prior, you can have your park published online so other people can play through your creations, and you can have it rated. They can take it and modify it if they so wish, just really adding a nice collaborative aspect to the experience. However, thus far you cannot play your created parks in multiplayer, and I don't see a gap tool in the park editor, which is a little strange to me. But overall though, I see mounds of potential with Create a Park. I think the tools there are awesome. I think they allow for a lot of creativity and just really warping things however you want. I've already played some pretty stellar parks, so I'm excited for what the future holds for Create a Park. Creative Skater. Now, I do enjoy the Creative Skater in this game. I think the deck options are really cool. You can change the grip tape color and the wheel color, all the different parts, the trucks, the wheels, the deck graphics. You can make your deck look more worn, or if you like a cleaner look, that's there for you too. However, you can only change the color on certain articles of clothing, but I think on some of these articles of clothing, the amount of color customization you can do is really incredible. Like, you can have different color swatches, 3 different colors on one article of clothing, which I think is really awesome. I just wish it was more widespread. And now, my cast is usually pretty pedestrian, kind of looks like, you know, your average skater guy, but THPS is known for its wide array of crazy and goofy novelty items. And really, there's not many of those in here at all. I mean, there's a mask you can kind of put on your face. I guess we're under Corona times now, so I don't see any sun hat, clown shoes, Viking helmet, paper bag, like stuff like that. I do foresee it coming in the future, but as it stands, there is none of that here. Now, in terms of customization of your move set, you got a pretty decent spread of special moves and regular moves you can utilize. Some of the fan favorites are back, like the Misty Flip FS540. You got the Pizza Guy, better than ever. Personal favorite of mine is the Ghetto Bird. However, I'm a little bit disappointed in the lack of number of special tricks, specifically in the manual and lip sections. You have like, you know, a handful of special manuals and like 3 special lip tricks. Even for somebody that doesn't use lip tricks ever, I think that's kind of crazy. Like, that's it? Really? But I think the special tricks they do have are winners, and I'm not really complaining too much at all. Now, in terms of unlockables, cheats are available right away. You can make your skater bigger or smaller, different graphic options, cheats to affect your stats, that kind of thing. If you smash all the aliens, you'll get an alien character, and if you complete all the challenges with your created skater, you unlock Officer Dick, which Jack Black has now acted as a stand-in for Officer Dick, which is pretty hilarious. You can even see him driving around in the cart in school too. I think that's awesome. The unlockable Pro Skater videos are back. You also have a Bales video for people that enjoy seeing that kind of thing, you sick freaks. And that's about it for my thoughts for Pro Skater 1 and 2. So far, I've been really enjoying it. Hopefully there's more updates on the horizon. Of course, the game can get even better. Back in the day, we just had the game and that was it. There was no patches, no nothing. That was it. So I'm optimistic that the game could get even better, more options, maybe DLC for the future games as well. I think this is a nice base to build off of, so I'm really excited to see what Vicarious Visions does in the future. I think they knocked it out of the park. Super stoked to keep playing this game. This and Animal Crossing have really got me through this quarantine period, so big ups to Vicarious Visions. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay tuned.